Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kiki and Kibbitz. It's me, Mary, and I am here today with 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 10, This Enchanted. If I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a solid D. I was really disappointed in this episode, disgusted with the actions of some of the people in this episode, and I can't think of another adjective. So let's hop right into it. So first we start off with these two idiots. Yes, I said it. They're idiots. James and Tata. Okay, they're leaving the hotel. They're going back to her parents' house. Now the time has come. It's time for them to move in. Now James is anxious and nervous, as he should be, because he's moving into Tata's parents' house. So it's their rules, okay? So first thing on the list is to get this room that him and Tata are going to live in livable. It looks like a jail cell. Like it should be a love after lockup or something. So first they start scrubbing down walls. They put down a new floor. They put some wallpaper on these concrete walls so it doesn't look so much like a jail cell. They got a new door up, even a bed, okay? And Tata's dad's like, check it out. So they got their bed. The room is all set up. Now it's time for gifts because Uncle James has brought gifts for Tata's nephews and for everyone in the house. Did I mention there's 7 people that live in the house? Her parents, her sister, her sister's kids, and now her and James. Yeah, that's a pretty full house, okay? So James gives gifts to the kids, and they're all happy. They're like, oh, thank you, Uncle James. They're playing with the Legos. James is playing with the kids, and his father-in-law, by the way, he bought Legos for the boys. He bought beautiful necklaces for Tata's mother and sister and silver moon coins for Tata's father. And the moon coins represent that we are all looking at the same moon under the same sky. Okay? So he's playing with the kids and they're all like, oh, James, please have a kid soon. Please have a kid soon. And Tata's sitting there like, Now, mind you, James still doesn't know that Tata's friend told her that James didn't want to have kids. Do you remember that in the first episode? It was their friend that told her this and not James himself. Okay. So she's sitting there like, Little does my family know that James doesn't want kids. And, that will break their heart. And it will break my heart to break their heart, the fact that James doesn't want kids. Okay. And James himself says that he knows that him not wanting kids is not going to go over so well with the family. So let's see what happens. But like I said, these two are fucking idiots. Now, moving on, we have Corona and Ingi. Oh, Ingi. So, okay. It's time for a video chat with mom and the family. Okay. And if I was to see these faces on a video chat looking at me, if I was Inky, my pants would be a little wet, if you know what I mean. Okay. So, like Corona says, her family could be a little abrasive. Okay. And her mom can be intense and vicious. So, hey, let's jump on this video chat. The first thing mom says, if Mookie, and it's like, who the hell is Mookie? If Mookie gets eaten by a volcano, okay, Corona's mom is going to bring Inky back to life to kill him. It turns out that Mookie is Corona's nickname. Why? She has no idea. Her mother always called her Mookie from the time she was born. And she didn't realize that Mookie wasn't her name until she was like 4 years old. So her mom is like, you better finish school. Don't make me go out there and get you. You better finish school. Okay. And Ingi and Corona laugh at her, and her mom's like, did I tell a joke? And let me tell you, seeing this face on a FaceTime, I'll be pooping myself. Just saying, okay? She is no joke. She minces no words. And Granny just sitting in the back, quiet, just taking it all in. So they ask Ingi, do you have any talks of marriage? Are you going to put a ring on that finger? And Ingi's like, no, not yet. Basically, we're just dating and having a good time. And his response put something in Corona's head, like maybe we're not on the same page. Maybe I'm too serious and he's not that serious. So I don't think we're going to see her soft partnering him anymore. And she's probably going to pop the fuck off. So let's see what happens. Now we're moving on to Josh and Lily. And I'm so disappointed in Josh, okay? First of all, dude, you got into an argument making all this drama over traffic cameras. Like, fucking really? Traffic cameras? Okay? Now, dude, you're in China. Of course there's cameras everywhere. Like, isn't that kind of common sense? I don't know. Is it just me? But they got into a fight over these flashing lights that he sees everywhere in their parking garage, on the highway, driving down the street. And he's been trying to ask her about it for 2 days. Okay? And apparently she keeps cutting him off. And she's like, yes, I know. He believes that their arguments, 75% of them are due to translation errors. Well, then, dude, learn more Mandarin. Pull out a translator app. I don't know what to tell you. If things are getting lost in translation, fix it. But I think there's more to the problem than stuff being lost in the translation. Okay? So they get into this big argument. And Lily, once again, throws back in his face how much she's done, how much she spent, etc. It's all for you. It's because I love you. Because then Josh, when they fight, throws in her face that she doesn't really love him, that it's a fake kind of love. And they just get into these arguments. But I'm like, you guys are arguing over traffic cameras? Like, what the fuck? Okay? So, they sit down and they try to have a conversation. And Josh says that the problem is that Lily always has to be right. Okay? Lily always has to be right. And Lily's like, no, that's not it. It's, if you're not happy in this relationship, then we don't need to be in this relationship. And Josh is like, you see, when you say things like that, it hurts even more, because I want us to say that we're going to fight for this relationship, that we're going to try to get through it. And Lily's like, but if you're not happy, why are you here? We fight all the time. And I feel like that you're not happy, which makes sense. But like I said, if it's things that are truly getting lost in translation, Josh, there's ways to fix that, okay? Just saying. And I had high hopes for this couple. Moving on, we have Shekinah and Sarper. Now, last week I was on vacay, so I missed doing the Other Way recap, but I did watch the episode, okay? And these two apparently, I don't care what you call it, had a physical altercation, okay? They got into a stupid argument over vanities, okay? And he went to go take Shekinah's phone out of her hand and ripped out one of her hair extensions. Why is it every time I try to sit down and record a video, Mr. Softy wants to pull up and park in front of my house? Anyway, so Shekinah, this episode, was making tons of excuses for him. And that's the only way I could characterize it, okay? So she left to a hotel, wakes up in the morning. Adonis is there. Poor Adonis is like, listen, I just want to go home back to the United States. Okay. I'm tired of this shit. Just let's go home. Okay. So she said that Sarper has been texting her all morning with some really harsh language, her words, not mine, saying that he hates himself and all this other stuff. And because Sarper doesn't want to know anything about her past, he has no idea that she was in a DV relationship before this. So even if she's a DV survivor or not, Sarper's Sarper's temper and reaction was totally unacceptable. Just the fact that he tried to rip the phone out of her hands, totally unacceptable. But according to her, ripping out the hair extension was an accident. I call it making excuses for him. She never wants to see this side of him again, and she doesn't know what she's going to do. Then we see Sarper. Okay, he wakes up the next morning and he is so full of regret. He can't believe she kind of left. She kind of even left with his boy, Adonis. Okay, he feels empty and sad because he loves Shekinah. And he can't believe that he was so stupid in doing what he did. Okay? I mean, he's so sad. He's so sad because remember, he's a fluffy bun or whatever the hell he said. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so we all know that Shekinah is going to go back because we see that she's getting a nose job. Like we saw in the previews that she was getting a nose job and he's going to be designing her nose. And a little spoiler, Shekinah and Sarper are in the States. They're going to be filming for 90 Day Fiancé. No surprise. But hey, okay, so Sarper is so upset with himself. He has so much regret. And he just hopes that Shekinah listens to him. Okay, because he's just so sad. Okay, whatever. So, moving on. We have these two, Dempsey and Statler, and every week they just give me a bigger and bigger headache. Okay, so first of all, they are going to, one second, guys, sorry, a little distracted. Okay, so in case you're interested, this is what I wanted to tell you guys. In case you're interested, the van has been christened numerous times. Thanks for telling us that, Dempsey and Statler. Okay, so now they're going off to a boot sale. What is a boot sale, you may ask? Well, it's kind of like a garage sale, okay? But in England, they call it a boot sale because you're selling shit out of the trunk of your car, and a boot is the trunk of your car, okay? So Dempsey is selling a bunch of clothes. She's trying to, make a couple of dollars just to add to the kitty, okay? And that's when the uncomfortable conversation of finances come up. And Statler realizes that Dempsey has money stashed away from the sale of her car. About 500 pounds, we find out later, which is roughly about $650. So Statler's like, but wait a minute. I remember you calling me and telling me that we needed an additional $6,000 for the van and that you didn't have any money. So I put myself in the uncomfortable position of asking my boss for an advance. Well, you had this money stashed away. And I kind of feel like that you're keeping the money, for yourself. And Dempsey's like, no, that's not the case at all. Okay, so Dempsey points out that Statler was saying this whole time that she wanted to take care of her financially. And Statler's like, are you going to get a job? How are you going to get a job? What kind of job are you going to do? And Dempsey is, she sounds like Ashley and Danielle and everyone. I'm going to manifest it. Okay, great. I'm glad that you're going to manifest work. So Statler's like, I can't really afford to take care of the both of us. And Dempsey's like, well, you said that you were going to financially take care of me, and that was the whole plan from the beginning. So they didn't have this finances conversation, and having it now at their boot sale out of the boot of their van that's already bought, I think it's a little bit too late. So, okay, now they're on the road and they have to fill up the van. And guess how much it costs to fill up the van? 111 American dollars. Statler is like, holy shit. Is it going to cost this much every time we fill up the van? How often do we have to fill up the van? Holy shit. I didn't think it was going to be this expensive. Girl, you should have done your research. You're making a life-altering change. Doing the van life thing, the least you could have done was do a Google search on how much it costs to fill the tank. I'd be like, what the fuck? I know I Google everything. So anyway, so Dempsey was like, I was never planning on keeping that money for myself. And Statler's like, why are you getting so defensive? Okay. So I get where Dempsey's coming from, because she feels like Statler doesn't trust her. So I mean, I'm sorry that, Statler's coming at her a certain way about the money. And, she did not tell her about having money left over from the sale of her car, which is shady on Dempsey's part. Don't get me wrong. That's shady as fuck. But what Statler did next was really kind of fucked up. She was like, okay, so my name isn't even on this van. And then we show a little side conversation where Dempsey tells her, well, we had this conversation when you were back in Dallas, and I told you that only one name could go on the van. And since I was dealing with the guy, with the purchase and the logistics and everything else, we agreed my name would go on the van. But I told you if it would make you more comfortable to draft up a letter that in case anything happens between us, the van gets split 50-50, and you never took it upon yourself to draft up the letter. And Statler sits there, looks at her and says, I don't recall having that conversation. And Dempsey's like, are you fucking kidding me? And Statler's like, there were so many things going on at the time, stress, blah, 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 every tism you could think of. I don't recall that conversation. Okay, so I can see how this was a fucking walking disaster. In my opinion, Statler was so wrapped up in her own anxieties and every ism in the book that she wasn't listening to half of what the fuck Dempsey was saying. Okay, I'm sure she was just okaying her to death half the time, or just not absorbing what she was saying, and because she was so stuck in her world of anxieties and every ism that you could think of, and not being sure whether this is a great idea. But instead of listening, okay, and seeing the red flags while she was still in America. Anyway, so Dempsey's crying at this point. And Dempsey says in her confessional, I told Statler that we could wait, okay? I'll keep my trailer for 6 months. I'll work, and we could wait a bit. And Statler was adamant. She said, no, I want to do this now. Let's get the van now. I don't want to be in America anymore. I want to leave now. So Dempsey says this whole rush was all on Statler. Okay, so she doesn't understand where this energy is coming from. And seeing Statler's acting online, the way that she's acting online, I should say, you never know which side, which energy you're going to get from her. So I can imagine Dempsey dealing with that. So that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Hit that like button. Share my video with a friend or 10. And please consider joining my membership. See you next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.